think it formed kind of a pattern within me, as I say, self-sabotage. I fell in love with a girl. To stick to my decision of not marrying, I have to move away from that girl. Took a toll on me, like because emotionally you're going in a direction and you have to pull yourself out of that way. By profession, I'm a civil engineer. They thought they'll help me by giving me a career, civil engineering projects. Some person offered a partnership in their farm, but the only condition was I said I'll not compromise volunteering. When I reached the ashram, the first impression was this is the place I've been looking for. One thing, when you have that conversation with family that you're going away for 7 months, they put all those things like, oh, in the ashram they'll be like this, like this, like this. And then you go to Isha ashram, Coimbatore, and you see it's completely different to the definition they give you. So these 7 months I don't want to compromise. I want to be left alone. Even though it's torture, hell, I just want to go through it.
Namaskaram everyone, this is Neha and welcome to another interesting episode of Simplified Talks with Neha. The journey through adolescence is certainly a roller coaster ride for many young people. They face various obstacles, encounter self-doubts, emotional turmoil, and constantly try to find a place in the world. Our guest today is someone who was bombarded by similar problems but eventually learned how to dive deep within and cultivate a state of tranquility among the chaos of adolescence. Dear viewers and listeners, please welcome our today's guest, Abhiram Anna. Namaskaram Anna.
Okay.
We want to go through your journey starting from your childhood.
As a child, I was labeled stubborn by my few of my family members, uh, and yeah, I used to. There was a lot of arrogance. Like I used to answer back. I used to not easily listen to anyone. Whatever they say, I used to question, and if I don't find it logically correct, I would not do it. Yeah, if that was settled, it would have been nice that if would have accepted that. But my parents didn't like that somebody was labeling me that way. So they tried to correct me and they tried to do that. Back end process was happening a lot. So because of that, there was confusion within me that is it wrong to be like this was always a question. So how to be was always a question for me as a child also. I always felt out of place in social situations. By myself, I was okay, lost within myself, my own world. So I preferred that way. Socially, I was very, very closed because I didn't know how to be around people because if I was a certain way, somebody would say something. But yeah, I was not thought about acceptance, and in that way, I was not nurtured. So that's why socially, I was very silent, calm kid, and as I grew up, that continued into my teenage and other phases of my life as well. So when somebody used to correct me, I used to be very angry, like why are they doing all this? Uh, at the same time, when I was scolded at or something like that, uh, I used to easily get angry, and one time I decided to run away from my home because they're simply for silly things they're doing all this. I had a lot of judgment as a child. So yeah, that time I didn't know the word. For me, just back of my home was all I knew. There was a construction site behind my home. So I thought, okay, fine. I ran away from home. I was so naive. Even now, I think many areas I'm still naive that I think that if I decided, then it is done. I don't understand that I have to get other people,
Involved.
yeah, or make them understand. So the same way, I ran away from home. I thought, okay, I ran away, so they'll also accept. We are done. I just went off to that construction site and I thought, Acha, this is my home. I will live here. Then evening, my grandfather started looking for me and he came to the site, picked me up, and took me back.
How old were you at this point of time?
4 or 5, not more than that. Yeah, those kind of dreams were there. Like I think many people I've heard from them that they had a dream to live in a forest by themselves. So I was also having that kind of dreams. My games were also around that. That I am lost in a forest. I have to survive. Or I used to, yeah, like construction site. So now I have to build my own house and be there. So this was my world, fantasy to when I was playing by myself. With people, yeah, I play a lot of sports. Like I played cricket up to the district level, so that was one go-to sport. Cricket has given me so much in my life because yeah, it was totally made me joyful to just bowl. The feeling of running and just doing something out of your hand. uh, to make the ball move. So I had a natural talent also for that. So which because of which cricket gave me a lot of popularity in school days. And yeah, my entire life I can, if I turn back, before I think until college it was all cricket. My recognition was one of my major identities was by cricket. People knew that they used to love watching me play. So, and I used to love playing just for the sake of it. Uh, but yeah, as a child, there were challenges about people always. So, sport was something that gave me this relief. Even with my own brother, I didn't know how to deal with him or how to be an elder brother. I was always confused. What is my role exactly? So, when we play together, when we play cricket also, you don't know what is healthy boundary. I mean, I didn't know. So I used to overdo things. I used to overgive or in that way. So I never knew a healthy way to be with people, because of which either I felt shameful in social situations. Basically, even if people showed some love or something good towards me, I didn't know how to handle it. So that also is kind of awkward for me. It's an awkward situation to actually feel love. Even now it is, but I think now I've learned to just relax a little more into it. But yeah, as a child, I definitely didn't know uh, if somebody gave me attention, how to deal with it. So I rather not get anyone's attention. I was like just being in the dark side of the stage rather than in the limelight.
How was your relationship with your parents?
Relationship में what all terminology comes, I don't know to define it. But definitely it was not supportive. Uh, yeah, financially, definitely they did a great job, like most parents do. They give their heart and soul. It's unfair to expect all of it to come from their end because their challenges, limitations will be there. But to be honest, as I was saying, I was always confused because I didn't have that kind of nurturing or security that I got from my parents. Uh, Rather, it was their insecurities that got rubbed onto me. So their social pressures, uh, their opinion of how I should be, got rubbed on me a lot, which I had to later on, work at and start breaking them. Uh, so whenever I tried to choose for myself, there was always doubt instilled within me, which I didn't know how to handle ultimately. I didn't know a good enough example in front of me who I could look at and learn from. So that was one challenge. Uh, I was always looking for someone to really look up to and learn, because I didn't know where else to look. So yeah, my father was like a hero to me. Even in my entire cricket career, though I played to the district level, the best moment for me in my entire career was when my father came and just played a few balls with me. I think that happened only once or twice. And I remember both the instances. And even when I was very young, I think 3 or 4 years old, he got a cricket kit and took some photos of me. So these memories were the best of my cricketing career. So yeah, I think as a child, I longed to that have that relationship with parents. But at some point, I realized that I'm wasting too much time here, or my direction started to change also, because early part of childhood I was by myself in this, and because there was father was not emotionally available. There was if you have two kids in the family, then probably younger one would be getting
More attention.
yeah, because he is younger, so and he's also adorable. Sometimes even you end up playing with him. So Uh, then you get overcompensated from your mother's side. Is that guilt wala love that comes in, which is like too much to bear. So you can't take it like, it's not, it's coming out of sympathy rather than out of genuine love. So you don't want to have that. You try to push that away again. So mostly you're left alone because you don't want to accept what you're getting and you're seeking what you're not getting. So always that chasing around and avoiding was the way I was growing up. And in between there was also a brother I had to somehow live with. What to do with him, I don't know. Just living with him. I can't remember the first time I made friends like as group because first class I got until first class I was studying in a different place. We were living with my grandparents, and after that we moved to a new place, and I changed my school. Then, as I was a silent child, I never really went out and made friends. If somebody came and became friends with me, yes, I would hang around with them. But I never outwardly went and made friends as such. Even now, I'm like that. I don't go out and form relationships. Of course, it's little changed. I understand the importance of reaching out to people. I can't say that I have a group of friends to like many people would have. Maybe one or two friends hung around with me, but even they started that also our relation got distanced once my direction changed and I started looking into other things. So even my brother is asking like his marriage is on 20th of August and he's like how many friends are coming to my marriage from your side? I'm like okay, two, three, four, but not guaranteed that they'll come. I'll invite four people. I don't know how many would come. So that's the state. And he is like, "Oh, you can involve Isha people and everything. And I'm like, I'll think about it. I can't say for sure if I will or not. I think that's also my strength that
You don't need friends.
not need. Socially, yeah, you need people to support you in different ways. That's without that you cannot do many things. But just that space you can. I've lived by myself for so long that I've learned to accept it. It's become a strength that I saw how to do things alone, how to move things alone. So yeah, that's why even any activity that I do, the biggest challenge for me was to work as a team. If you give it to me, end to end, I will do everything. I can do a better job than in a team where there will be so many compromises, so many things you have to address in a different way, and you have to delegate, you have to take up some more responsibility that they not able to do. So many factors come in. But when it's me, then I can just push myself somehow and do it. So that's how I was always doing things. So working as a team is a learning, is a new thing. Even in my cricket team, I was not much of a, I didn't understand team playing, though sport cultivates that. It was always about, like, if I play, I used to be the star. So I used to be the standout for my talent in the team, but not stand out as a team player or, uh, yeah, as an advisor, okay. I used to give good enough suggestions. Sometimes I used to be the captain, but never as a team player. I don't consider myself. I don't rate myself as a good team player. It's something I'm working on. So this was my limitation at the time that I didn't know how to mingle with people. Uh, I thought that I was always left alone, and yeah, that factor of being lonely was a lot since in my childhood. But I didn't know that like can actually make it your strength also. That I got to learn at a later point. One respite was uh, my cousins, my sisters. Uh, Somehow I found a good rapport with them every time. So even now they're very close to me, uh, and they kind of like listened. Like I think that was one point that was missing in my. Somebody just listen to you. I think everybody longs for that as a child, especially. So sisters were in that way very helpful that they used to sit and listen whatever I said.
Being a graphologist, I learned few things about childhood, about the role of parents during the childhood. So we learned that during the initial years, like 0 to 7 years or 0 to 6 to 7 years, if 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 a female figure like mother or grandmother somewhere has to be there, if that female figure is not there, the person is not emotionally stable or they long for some emotional support all their lives. And during 7 to 14 years of their lives, when a male figure is not there, they usually go for some kind of addiction. So do you think this uh, falls with what happened with you?
I don't know age-wise because that would be unfair to judge them like whether they were there in that age or not. But definitely there are some aspects of this that emotionally they were unavailable, and at certain parts I felt alone.
Hmm.
Even I had an outburst at them, saying that they don't love me, they
Hmm.
don't care for me, they only care for my brother. So I literally believe that. So what made me take that impression, I cannot clearly say because that's too young age.
Hmm.
Uh, but definitely, yeah, I felt that way. And I strongly believe that I was being neglected, and I didn't get that attention or care. So, because I was hurt because of them, I was expecting certain things from them and I was hurt. I think it formed kind of a pattern within me, as I say, self-sabotage. So, it was about hurting myself. Like, see, any stimulants that you take,
Hmm.
only to a certain extent, you do it out of the kick,
Hmm.
but it's much deeper. It's not just to give you a high.
Hmm.
Many times you do it because you fall victim to whatever that is bringing into your life.
Yeah.
So one aspect of that is hurting my parents indirectly, because directly I cannot do anything to them. So through stimulants, they say don't smoke, don't drink.
Hmm.
So doing that, something that they forbid, is a way to hurt them.
Hmm.
But ultimately you're hurting yourself because you're doing it on you.
Yeah.
That you have to strongly sit for and figure out for yourself.
Hmm.
So for me, that took a few years to even realize that I was doing this out of my anger and uh, to hurt them. Then only I could start working towards coming out of it. So early years, I thought that it's like my friends are smoking.
Hmm.
Okay, then if I smoke, then they'll also accept me.
Hmm.
So kind of started like that. Then it became about my personal thing, like my family. And also there is a factor of relief, stress buster, as they call.
Hmm.
So in that way also it works,
Hmm.
but that is a very, very small element for me. It's more about these toxic or emotional damaging patterns
Hmm.
within yourself that don't allow you. Even at every step, even not just smoking, any limiting habit, any habit that you're doing, even social media scrolling or whatever, it is kind of blocking your uh, free flow, your growth. You're somehow limiting yourself
Hmm.
through doing this.
Hmm.
There might be different reasons for this, but for me, I found that smoking and drinking was mainly uh, one was because of my emotional instability, and the other one to hurt them. In fact, literally, when I sat down and started seeing this, I used to write down, like, I don't know from where I picked up this methodology,
Hmm.
but every time I smoked, I used to write down my thoughts before I started a smoke,
Hmm.
during, and after.
And
So
what did you see?
I saw that when I have a fight with my mother,
Huh.
immediately my tendency is to go out and have a smoke.
Okay.
So it is in a way that within myself, whatever I'm carrying of my parents,
Huh.
like in my mind, it is just to hurt them. Then I started realizing what I'm doing during. Many times it was like, uh, those repeating thought patterns of, when you're smoking, uh, it is just about some image of yourself, some fancy image of yourself that you want people to see
Okay.
and see that, oh, he's so great or he's so wonderful.
Huh.
That kind of thing you want to have. So you're just lost in your dream. You're
Hmm.
not in touch with reality.
Okay.
So many a times I found this happening.
Huh.
It is either to hurt them
Hmm.
or to boost my own image when I'm feeling down.
Hmm.
So I had to address the root cause,
Hmm.
or else the smoking won't drop. Because these thoughts, whenever they come, I pick up a cigarette.
Okay.
And alcohol was more like to give you the courage to do things, to do stupid things. Not just stupid, but many things you don't do in your life, so it all gets suppressed. If you don't have the courage to just express yourself, many situations, they all get bottled up. So as a child, as I told you, I was very, very closed. I used to hardly speak to people, even if they sit in front of me. So many things are running in your mind. Emotionally, they're running, but there is no expression. So all that suppression had to come out in some way. So I took to drinking as a way to get it out. Uh, and I was an addict. Like I can say, when I went for masters in Italy, the whole time I was on
Stimulants.
stimulants.
Why did you choose to do your masters in Italy?
Italy was not the important thing there. It just the education was cheaper, so I didn't have to take a loan like for other countries, 40 lakhs of loan. So I thought Italy would give me the freedom to choose because I didn't go there for masters. I went there for something else. After my masters, I wanted to have the freedom to actually look for what I want in life. That's why I just went there. But the actual reason I went there was to stay away from my parents. Because growing up, I never had the space for to explore like what is life. Because I hardly understood what's happening around. Uh, One aspect was I was being neglected, and the other aspect of my parents was they both didn't have a good relationship. Yeah, my parents' relationship with each other was such that it made me question what is life. I think that's a good thing in the end. I got the most profound question through this my parents' relationship.
Okay.
Um, the way they were as typical family or with each other made me feel that I don't want to get married. Like
Okay.
I thought that I strongly decided that I'll not get married because I don't want to get into all this whatever fuss they are made in their own life. I thought I was seeing like why are they doing this? What is the point of this? They got married. They are having troubles with each other. Then they uh, want me to do the same thing instead of being in that. First of all, they are in a mess and they are asking me to get into the same mess. That was all my question. Why are they asking me? As parents, they should give you the right, like the best they can, the best choice they should help you take. But I see that this choice that they've made was not working for them. And why are they asking me to get into it? Then, if marriage was out of the question, what is the other thing in life? I didn't know. Many people live for love, for marriage. Their whole life is based around it. They celebrate it throughout their life. So once I cut this out, this option, then I looked at life and all that was left was paid bills and die one. Have a job, pay bills, die. I'm like, is this all there is to life? That's it. The magic of life was gone. Just on the verge of not knowing what to do with life. Then uh, my BTech years, in the first year, I fell in love with a girl. So the entire college got to know this. Somehow she also had feelings for me, so it was mutual. So the entire college was talking about it like, Acha, these two are
Together.
together and all this. But because of my own limitations, I could not go out, approach her because I did, but uh, not the way you want to. So we never moved forward. At least I didn't take things forward because of my own limitations. I had said for myself that I'll never marry. So now these feelings, everything that were, all the emotions that were suddenly bursting out, it was breaking my own thought, like my own decision. So everything was starting to change. And to stick to my decision of not marrying, I have to move away from that girl, even though I felt like I want to. So just to stick to that decision, I had to cut her out from my life, which I don't know is the right way to do or not. But at that point, yeah, I was. Uh, it took a toll on me, like because emotionally, You're going in a direction and you have to pull yourself out of that way. Yeah, when again I close myself to love or something, some pleasantness that was happening for me. Um, then the only respite was a few friends who hanged around with me. So the next 2 years of my life was mostly around those people. So in the third year of my BTech, I met with an accident. This happened all of a sudden. Nothing was expected. We were on a bike and my friend was on the back and we were going to submit our semester records. On the way, suddenly a truck came out of a petrol bunk and we were so close, it almost rammed into, like, I thought it was raining actually. So when I hit the brake, the bike started skidding towards the truck. I thought, okay, this might be the end. And that moment, suddenly it became so, like, my awareness levels suddenly increased so much that I never had that kind of calmness in any situation. Always in my mind there was a lot of chaos. Because even though I was very silent in situations, everything was happening in my mind. But this situation, it was like I could nearly die, but I was so calm and I was so aware of the situation that I knew exactly if I do this, if I turn my handle to the right, there is a footpath, the divider is there. So my bike will hit the divider and the bike will stop there. My friend will fall on the divider and he will save his life. So this much clarity I had. And I just turned the handle. Exactly that thing happened. The bike and I went to the other side of the road and fell. And my friend stopped on the divider. So, and funnily, I fell right in front of a clinic. So people just picked me up from the road and put me in the clinic for treatment. So when this happened, this question became more intense. Like I was searching what is the purpose of life? What am I supposed to do here already? And suddenly I experienced some kind of awareness and calmness that I never had in my life. So just to realize that such a level of existence is possible, that you can live at that level, I started to pursue it, like how to be in that state or how to reach that state. I started exploring. I don't know why I took that route. I mean, why I started exploring in that direction, but I thought my answers will come if I go to Ramakrishna Mutt. So immediately after my accident, I got a few stitches on my leg. So once I got cured, I joined for basic communication skills and some other course in Ramakrishna Mutt. I thought that just as an introduction, I need to be there and experience this. So when going through this course, I felt good because I don't remember anything during that course that they was taught, but they did invocations. So there was Sahana Bhavatu, Asatoma Sadgamaya, and even a couple of invocations about like a prayer about praising Ramakrishna and Vivekananda and Sharada Devi. So all these were so powerful and it relaxed me so much. It gave me so much. It soothed me so much. These chants that every morning doing them, I felt in a different zone. I love them so much that I used to come home and just write them down in book so that I don't forget them. I wanted to keep them forever. So at that point, I didn't know like all this spirituality, nada yoga, all this I didn't know. Just that the sound, the way I pronounced it, was creating some kind of a soothe within me, and I just wanted that to continue. So this was the highlight for me about Ramakrishna Math. I didn't find my answers there to all my questions, but I found something which I could carry with me for the rest of my life. That invocations and the sounds. So so in Ramakrishna Math, I happened to meet one person. His name is Aditya. This person was the other highlight of me in this program. So when I was looking for all these answers, this guy opened me up to a dimension of life that I never knew. Like many people say that through books your life can change. And he was like a walking library. He has read so many books that if you sit with him, even 10-15 hours he will just talk and things that you've never heard about in your life. So much knowledge he's acquired. So for me, he became like a mentor because I never had that father figure to look up to. I immediately took to him. I could relate to him as an elder brother because he was young enough. So all my childhood, that was the problem. My father and me, there was too much of an age gap to relate to him, and though I looked up to him, I could not relate to him. Like my younger brother could relate to me. They are only 4 years apart.
Okay. Yeah.
So he has more of a connection and like a friend. So father, there is so much distance. So here I found father figure, a mentor, and a friend in this person. So I started hanging out with him so much, and we used to sit throughout the night. Just I used to just listen to him. He was like just speaking about all books, so many psychology, money, relations, everything he used to speak. I used to just sit and listen, just observe whatever he's saying. No other purpose. Because I didn't have the discipline to read a book. I am a very slow reader. So sitting with him, I used to get everything he read, and he was very, very kind enough to actually explain it, every topic that he read. So this was a great learning. Through that only, through his words only, I started to realize my patterns during smoking also. That he used to tell me certain patterns like mother power, father power. So father power, for example, is in the absence of your father, in the same situation of a household situation, you will start to behave like your father. And in your absence, the next person in line will start to behave. That is my brother.
Okay.
So it is like a unconscious pattern. And I started to observe that. So once I started observing, it gave me a chance to correct myself just by knowing this concept. So like this, he told me about mother power, the influence of mother on you.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't have a healthy relationship, but because they were the first people in your life, you held them in a certain way, and there's an impact on you. So these are just two examples. He gave me concepts about how to approach people, how to deal with money, how to handle your finances. It was a great journey with him. And next 3 to 4 years, uh, almost, I think we met in 2015, and 2017, 18, almost 2017, I can remember that these 2 years we were very, very close. Like everything about my life, he was.
Knowing.
He was it. I learned my life through him, those 2 years. So, which I'm very, very grateful to him for. He put me in a very good direction. Whatever I learned there, still some of it helps me.
Are you still in touch with him?
No. So, this twist is because, as I told you, I used to listen to him a lot. So, when I was in Italy, in 2015, I went for my master's. So, 14, I graduated from bachelor's, and I worked for 10 months, which I didn't like. So, I thought I need to get away from all of this so that I can spend time with myself and explore that question, because this job never gave you space to actually, those questions which are boiling within me, it didn't give me a chance to explore them. So, I had to go somewhere away where nobody I knew existed. If I was in Hyderabad doing masters somewhere, I would still be in family situation and the same people around. So I thought everything should be new so that I can explore. That is why I was seeing I'll go to USA or New Zealand. Then I got to know Italy, where there is a scholarship education. Somehow I got there, and I thought, yeah, this is it. Now I have the space for myself. So 2015 to 17, I was very happy because I took that decision. It was the best decision of my life. Because one thing, it will give me the freedom, and the second thing is I'm exploring a foreign country at my own pace, which was kind of a dream that you get to explore. And the third most important thing is you get to be by yourself. Finally, there is nobody else to mess with you. But I realized that is the biggest challenge. And there is nobody else to mess you. You will mess up yourself more than anyone. So, the 15 to 17, I realized that I messed up myself in such horrible ways. I took to alcohol more because there was nobody else to stop, no restriction. and all my patterns were coming out. Whatever anger, hate I had, jealousy, everything that I carried was finding expression through these stimulants only. So it started, it became self-abuse, and it became to such an extent that I could not handle it. Physically, I become so weak, and because of that, my mental stability also dropped, and I had a total emotional breakdown somewhere in 2017, to a point where uh, I lost reality, sight of reality. I started to twist my own thought process in such a way. I thought my orientation itself. I started to believe I was gay. This is something uh, even for me. It was something I could not believe that mind can do such a thing. In a way, it shows the power of the mind, that whatever you believe strongly, as there is so much material nowadays, everybody knows power of manifestation. So I experienced this personally, even though it was false. uh, I was not gay because my physical orientation is not towards that, and I knew it also, but just that one emotional decision manifested in such a way that if I just sat like this in a public space, a gay person would come approach me and ask me out. They would ask my number. They would contact me the next day. This was manifesting, like just that thought, what reverberation it created around me. It just attracted those people into my life, which never happened. So, such is the power of the mind. So, I could not handle it. That was the biggest thing. Why I was saying emotional stability was, you need to know how to handle your thoughts, or else you being taken by them. So I was being taken by for a ride by them. I believed it, and my life was going in that direction. I didn't know how to change it back in the way to put the thoughts in the direction I want to take my life. That's why I was saying emotional stability. I needed that balance within myself to direct my thoughts and choose what thought I need to. Everything is there in my head, but which ones are the ones I have to follow? Was the question.
Wasn't all these things impacting your studies, or were you able to manage with your studies?
I never cared about studies, so yeah, there's no question of studies being impacted because I didn't care what grade I get. As I told you, I went for masters only to get time for myself. Master's degree was just a social cover up. So that parents will say, Acha, he's doing masters, that's why he's there. Everyone in the family will be like, oh, he's doing masters, so leave him alone. Even now it's true, like, if you are going for masters, you disappear for 4 years, nobody will care. But if you go to the ashram for 2 years,
Yeah.
then people will call you every day. Oh, my son is gone. They'll abuse everyone they know.
Yeah.
Even Sadhguru,
Agree.
everyone.
Agree.
So in 2017, I came back to India. Uh, During that breakdown, I thought I needed time in India. I thought I'll go to the ashram. So this is again one more story which is linked here. So uh, I got introduced to Isha through a friend. In 2017, when I came to India, I was so lost again because I thought I'll go to Italy to explore myself. But I took to smoking, drinking stimulants. I even started smoking weed. So everything became so much that I lost the clarity of why I came to Italy in the first place. I stopped exploring and I became a slave to these
Things.
patterns. When I came to India and met this person, my friend, she asked me a question which nobody asked me in my life until that day. She asked me, are you happy?